Oh, I'm back. Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and I think I am excited to be here, as all of you. And as Mr. Brad's wife, I need to get her name, because I think she could play a role here as far as the audio engineer. Yeah. How loud does Shawn still sound by the end of the show? So we'll see if we can keep it going. And you know how sidetracked I get sometimes. So sometimes we don't talk about rocks for a few minutes at all, including at this moment. This morning, took two of us to get partway to work because we had to take the Jeep in. And the Raven said, you know, it was making this funny noise driving home last night. And she goes, and she's one of those really nervous Nellies if any of the idiot lights come on or anything. And so I said, well, before we take the Jeep, because on Thursdays we drive together, I said, let me go see what that noise is. I didn't get out of the cul-de-sac before I was quite aware of what it was, pulled it back into the driveway, and all it took, you can actually access her rotors right through the wheel well. And three of them, nice and shiny and smooth, like they're supposed to be. The one that was making all the racket had some of the deepest grooves in it. It is like I put diamond crystals in those brake pads to clamp down on that rotor and just dig deep gouges into them. So I was able to show the Raven exactly what you look for, and that's how you tell. But they also make, and for those of you that don't know this, most brake pads, if not all, have a warning sound at about 10% left of your brake pad. And once that's gone, then it's metal on metal trying to stop you, metal on your rotor, and that is what will absolutely tear your rotor up and put the grooves in it. And if there's not enough metal left to see, this is actually related to lapidary work. See, you know, I was getting there. On a lapidary wheel, on a grinding wheel, we can grind perfectly flat surfaces. Well, the same thing is done on a rotary, the pad, the disc that stops your car when the pads clamp down on it. And they can grind that perfectly smooth and flat again if there's enough metal left, just like in a gemstone. You can cut the inclusion or chip out if there's enough stone left. I told her I didn't think there was enough metal left. So anyway, long story short, we had to take that. Then we had to take the other four-wheel drive, which doesn't have air conditioning. So today, it was okay coming in. Driving home, it's going to be another story. Still pretty warm down here in Georgia, but at least we have a home, and we don't have to have any mudslides, water. Oh, Asheville, a beautiful city. Been to it many times for gem shows and prospecting up in the Spruce Pine area, that whole area. I really wonder just how bad it all really looks now. And Chimney Rock to be wiped out, which I know that town. It's sad. But now, don't anyone take this wrong. On the one other side, as a rock hound, I'm looking at a rare opportunity, especially if you were a local, to find some good in the bad. And that is when I saw those riverbanks, especially in the bends, completely washed out and washed away, and mountainsides coming down. It's the same thing as if when I see a new subdivision being built around here and they're breaking new ground. That's how you get to see what's underneath the surface, right? Well, if I could just walk one of those creeks, you know, with the water down, you can just walk the creek for miles. And that's how new discoveries are made when it comes to gems and minerals. Especially, that is in a pegmatite belt. In other words, it's in a geologic area that is prone to pegmatite. It's not gold. No, it is outside of the what is known as the gold belt. Oddly enough, the gold belt extends actually down into Alabama after it passes a town called Villa Rica in Georgia, which translates to rich city. Named that way because even in this almost just low-level hill countryside, they found gold. There was gold shafts, and it extended into Alabama and all the way up to the Reed Mine, passing through South Carolina, into south of Charlotte, North Carolina. You get outside of that little range of that, that'd be southwest to northeast diagonal band, and you're out of the majority of your chance of ever finding gold or precious metals. But what you will find is another commodity, which I think I almost rather search for, and that is the pegmatite belt. After you pass through the zircon counties, so the pegmatite belt extends in that area. So when you those areas, there's like no federal lands. There's not like you can go make a claim. You can still go out west and on BLM, Bureau of Land Management, and on federal properties, you can still stake a claim. You can still mine and only pay the claim fee. I know, I looked into it when I lived in Denver. And so many of these old gold mines, of course, the claims have long since lapsed as far as belonging to anyone else. So you could go and reclaim them under certain conditions, of course. In the East, if you talk about federal lands, there are none, basically, unless you want to deal with a national park. Along rivers and creeks, 50 feet to either side of bridges, these kind of things, you can like legally fish. Let's say a stream is on private property, but if at a point the bridge crosses it, it's fair game. Same thing as far as accessing it. So most waterways are, you can't own the rights to the water itself. You can pass through it, like on a canoe or kayaking like that. It just depends. Other times, property is owned halfway up to the middle of a creek, and the other side. But just traversing and walking along a creek bed, for the most part, especially if you're in the national forest, fair game. I only say that because new places that are available for the regular guy to go prospecting and are very limited in the eastern United States. And sadly enough, calamities and tragedies like this, after all is said and done and everybody is, back to normal, it's a good time then to go and look at even the overburden that a landslide might have created that was pushed off to the side of the road. Unless a shiny rock is just a shiny rock, until someone with the knowledge that knows it's something a little bit better than a shiny rock, and you might just be the one because you have the knowledge to be able to determine that shiny rock is actually something else. Just a thought. As I saw a lot of that incredible damage, I thought, well, hopefully there's some local rock hounds. Hopefully someone can see some good to it. I don't know, But it's a horrible shame because those are beautiful areas. And not living far from them and not knowing those areas makes it all the worse. And I have 4 siblings that live in North Carolina. So, yeah. Okay, let's get to the comments so we can get to the lots of goodies for you. All right, let's start off here. First, the questions from last week were, name 2 minerals that were shown that often have REEs in them. And I think you know what that means. It's actually, if you read any kind of scientific magazines, that's what they use, REEs. They don't even often put behind it rare earth elements. They just expect, if it's an article you're reading that it's about minerals or geology, that if you're reading that article, you would know or should know what that abbreviation stands for. Rare earth elements, making them slightly reactive. So name 2 minerals that I showed that often have REEs, making them slightly radioactive. There were actually 3. And I actually didn't say the third one, so some of you caught on to the fact that there was a third one. I didn't point it out, but I have pointed it out previously. So the answers being that I was first looking for was parasite and xenotime. The third one, zircon, which was in there too. So I actually gave you a chance of 2 out of 3, seeing who would get the third one or mention it. And well done to those that included that one. Second question was, a Chelsea filter is used to detect what element? Chromium. And even though it detects and is made for just detecting chromium, everything is relative to the use of some of these filters. In other words, they may have a particular reaction to another element that is consistent with that element across other different minerals. Or it may be able to determine if you have a known item and use the filter and have an unknown item that you think is that item, it's good for comparisons. And if you either write down or mentally remember what something looks like under a chrome filter, and everything from fluorite to, you name it, there often is consistent differences that a filter, even though it's not designated for that particular type of what you're looking for, but it will still create a reaction. So don't be afraid. I just was looking at my filters today. I have I probably have all of them, but I have multiples of several of them. And some, get some field work and have gotten a little damaged over time. But I've done that. I've used other filters for alternate uses. It just takes using them for you to build up a confidence in them. Now remember, unless it's something really specific, they are a tool. They're not for complete definition of a mineral. If you have a refractive index that checks out, if you have hardness that checks out, if you have all other tests check out, then you use a filter for a final analysis, just like the chrome tourmaline that I showed last week and how it turned red. I already knew. I checked the the tourmaline and on the refractive index refractometer, and so it checked where it should be. So I knew then that as long as it turned red under the chromium filter, the Chelsea filter, that yes, I did have chrome tourmaline. And there we go. So it was a really good tool to affirm something that a more accurate measurement, being the refractive index, and birefringence, the high and low that it will give you. So that all the Chelsea filter had to do was confirm another more accurate test. So you don't start with the Chelsea filter, basically, is what I'm saying. If it's the only thing you have, that's a real good tool. But the competing item that you run into with certain things is Tsavorite garnet. Now, it was easy with that one crystal piece of chrome tourmaline. By that crystal alone, there's no way it was ever going to become or be a garnet due to the shape of the crystal. So I knew it wasn't going to be Tsavorite. But remember, Tsavorite is a type of grossular garnet. And a grossular garnet isn't magnetic. So it passed the non-magnetic test. And yet a grossular garnet will have also often strong fluorescence, a Tsavorite. Whereas you do get a reaction with fluorescence, but not always to the extent. So there were other tests, and either rule out or ruled in possibilities, and then, you narrow it down. So, especially something with chrome tourmaline, the refractive index is so not even close to what the difference between sabarite garnet and chrome tourmaline. That's an easy tell. I wouldn't have had to go any further. But I thought it was really neat for you guys to get to see the use of one right here in this show. Let's see. So the third question was, name the only place rainbow lattice feldspar is found. That was an easy one. Answer being Australia. Okay. Those are the questions. Let's get to the comments. Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock Family. Great specimen. Such a variety of colors and minerals this week. Still being saturated by remnants of Helene. No damage or ruin like so many are dealing with. Just days on end of rain we have had. Today should be the last of it. No more drought conditions here. Yeah, I know. A lot of places, too bad they had gotten it all at one time. The tropics are churning. Be aware. Trivia, xenotime and parasite, chromium in Australia. Getting them all right. Take care of yourselves and be safe. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Mr. Brad in Pennsylvania. How are you Pennsylvania folks up there? Greetings to Shawn Corduroy, the Raven, Christy Keeper, the Gem Shopping staff, and the whole Rock family. Hope all are well, safe and sound, high and dry. Trivia, non-guesses. That's what I want to hear. 2 minerals shown with REEs present in the agarine specimen, xenotime and parasite. I think Mr. Paris was associated with the Muzo mine, correct? You are absolutely correct, and that is where it's got its name. I think his name was J.J. Paris, and he was the first general, one of the first general managers of the Muzo mine during the time that I think parasite was discovered, and got it named after him. Feel a little bad. I mean, if it was like, if you associated, and when I hear the word parasite, I don't think of like a mineral that was found in Paris, France, or something like that, No. I think of a nasty little critter that sucks the life out of you. That kind of parasite. But, but I'd take a mineral named after me, even if it did make it end up sounding a little funky. I'd still be honored. Chelsea filter detection of chromium, correct? Where is rainbow lattice feldspar found? On the back of Rock and Gem magazine. Boy, there's one in every bunch, isn't there? Huh? There's one in every crowd. That was funny. That's funny. And then he puts Australia. But yeah, you're right. Other than that, for most of you, that was the only place it had been found until Shawn comes through and shows you the real deal. Let me know if anybody else out there has a rainbow lattice feldspar in their collection. I'd be curious. A bit of historical trivia for young Mr. Corduroy. In the mid-1700s, this ought to be cool. Mid-1700s, I love history. When George Washington accompanied the British forced military campaign against the French at Fort Duquesne in the French and Indian War, they cut a road through the forests of western Pennsylvania. They traversed swamps by cutting trees and laying down logs for a roadbed called a corduroy road. I never knew that. And I guess if you do that, they're all parallel, right? And so if I remember back to my corduroy days, I believe the pattern was all in straight parallel lines to that design. And if that is where the name came from for the corduroy pants or fabric, that would be pretty cool. That is a great tidbit of info. I got the blue manifestation spinel with the internal crystal. That's a good way to put it. Manifestation. Which manifestation quartz and all, and they call that, that's more of a metaphysical use of the term, but as long as it's the word that everyone understands what it means, then that's fine. No problem, because as opposed to saying quartz with internal quartz crystals or something else like that, it does need to be kind of a name for it. So I don't know, manifestation spinel might be reaching a little bit. How about inclusion of the month centerfold? That one would have certainly been deserving of the centerfold of my inclusion of the month magazine. And if you get, because that was my intent, was to use my macro lenses on my regular iPhone. I've showed you the little gizmo that attaches, and it takes great close-up pictures. You just have to really anchor the camera steady and get the lighting right. But if you have a great photo, get a great photo of that particular crystal, send it to me, because I would really like to know, and then try to identify it. It was between keeping it and who knows when I would get to doing it myself, or just offering it for sale, and hopefully someone else will do it. I'm intrigued with it and curious to see it in person. That's cool. I'm glad you are. So take that picture. Favorite of the show, all things Alex. Sad to have missed out on the gold in quartz specimens. I'm sure you would remember having a third such specimen, since those are unforgettable. Mr. Bratt, that would be really neat if I did have a third one. Since I didn't know I had those two left, every chance in the world there could be a third one. Even some gold nuggets. I was encouraged by finding those, that there may be some others yet. Those two particular ones really lent themselves beautifully to either being able to be used as a wire wrap in jewelry. You wouldn't want to do anything to them, except maybe that one if you wanted to drill a hole. Better yet, it'd be neat just to wire wrap it, or bezel set it, or something like that. They're certainly worth it. And when I calculated actually what the value they would be asking for those now, I mean a wholesale value that it would cost me, I actually sold those well below ever being able to replace them. But that's what I do. I try to make sure things sell the first time around. It's not always necessarily about making money. The thing about those gold pieces, that was something I could actually calculate the physical value of. And it was, and then you add the premium for the gold and quartz part. And whoever got those, who no one has told me yet, they've done really well, and got two cherry-picked pieces. So, Mr. Bratt, I have you down for, if I turn up another one, I'll put you down for maybe keeping it for you and featuring it for you. Favorite of all the show, all things Alex. A little bird told me that beautiful, faceted, huge in the world of Alexandrite crystal gemstone at 2.77 carats. So well done to whoever got that Alexandrite gemstone, because that is one of those things, again, where someone bought a quarter for a nickel easily. And it's a gemstone you can play with. That's another one. The inclusion in that, which in the world of Alexandrite, that stone was extremely clean, extremely clean. So that inclusion has some neat other things going on it. Take a picture of that as well. Whoever has it, of course, and send it to me. The Alexandrite, cat's eye Alexandrite cabs, wow. Make sure that you use the right lighting to see the color change. But the faceted one in particular, the sunlight, boom, incredible green. Make sure you use a monochromatic incandescent bulb and have the right one around so you can see the other side of the color change. as primitively, I feel like I had to use the lighter for the first time ever. Years ago in the live show upstairs, we created a light box, this special box that filled, because the showroom is full of all these different wavelengths of light, including fluorescent, primarily, especially over all the sales reps' desks, and the IGNers and whatnot. So I had to block out all that other light and then put the exact lighting I needed into that light box, but it worked amazing. We showed, and this has been a number of years ago, I think we were probably the first on a television sales channel to ever feature the full color changes, and we did it for everything from alexandrites to the color change garnets to I'll use the word czarite, and anything else color change, and it worked out great. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and I was really glad that at the time that because it was new. No other host had done what I did, and Asif and production went along with me. They trusted in the fact that I could actually produce a color change, and we did, and we had a big time with it. We also used it for other things too. So opals, cat's eyes. Okay, so from your from your last show, you said you have green fescue in your lawn. It's been dry all summer here, so I roll with anything that is green, mostly weeds, but you can't tell what they are if mowed. You're exactly right, because that's what my dad said. If it's green and it's worked that hard to grow, it's good to him. I'll never forget that. And it's true. Once it's mowed, it all looks green, especially from the HOA, little, yard minders that drive by and, write down all the things, wrong. And as long as they see green, that's good enough. I just have learned in the spring how to kill out all the weeds to start, and then let the fescue, what little bit Bermuda grass that was left, that's supposed to actually be what it's supposed to be, because the whole neighborhood's that way. If it was up to me, the whole yard, which is very, very small, would be all rocks. All rocks. I looked at my rock garden again the other day. Wow. I'm glad there's very few people that know what those rocks are that are in my yard, because I think I would have some, people go and people worry about what's put on their front porch. I'd be worrying about what's in my rock garden or the border of it. Of course, that coral specimen I talk about. I did pull it out of the weeds after thinking about that the other day, after seeing that one, Miss Barbara, and clean it up a little bit, but I need to clean it up more. But I have quartz cluster crystals that are like this big around crystals and fossils all the way across them, and coral. And, oh my goodness. Yep. I am a rock hound. My wife heard you from the next room again this week. Good energy, exciting specimens. You can match the volume of your gem shopping host upstairs any day of the week. Oh no. Oh, stabby enough. That's a hurtful non-compliment. That's the last thing I want to sound like. But I have a reason to be excited, because we've got exciting, cool stuff, right? Two things look alike, and I can tell you everything about them, including if it's a gemstone, how it's mined, how it's cut, what it's made of, how to alloy the metal that a piece of jewelry is made in. As I said one time, I can present one piece of jewelry 10 different times, and every single time it will sound like a different presentation altogether. But it'll be just additional information of the same piece. Everything from the way it was manufactured in one way, from the gemstone. A broader presentation of items needs to be done so it doesn't sound so parroted or repetitive. It's one thing you won't hear much in this show is repetition or parroting. I was parroted many times. It was kind of funny. But then kind of not. It's like, get your information in your own self. Anyway, another story. Be strong, my friend, Mr. Brad. All right, Mr. Brad, and I thank you. And I thank you so much, Mr. Brad, for your support. And your sense of humor. Rock on. Mr. Matt in Texas, greeting Professor and Rock family. Yes, the gigger has arrived. Yeah, my man, here, that's what I'm talking about. Mine's never far away. That is, of course, our alternate name for a Geiger counter. Now, I again watched another 1950s movie, and especially in the early 50s, so many movies were about the fear of the, atomic bomb, and had so much to do with everything atomic. And so they always get out the Geiger counter in those type of movies. And it is the old-fashioned one where, the battery, about the 15-pound handheld here with the, extension to the receptacle for reading the rocks, and those things were heavy. The technology has gotten down to way more accurate, and this is it. It takes 2 little batteries that last a really long time and can do so much more. And relative to the cost, and if you factor in then and now, I think they're more less expensive now overall than a relative one would be then. So I am so excited, Mr. Matt, especially since you've been scarfing up those, I'll use the R word, radioactive minerals, and especially the econite, the gems, the rarest and most radioactive gem there is, econite, and you have one of the largest collections of them right now, pretty much probably in Texas, my man. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it. And all those other minerals, and the way you're going about it, especially being a ex-high school principal, retired high school principal is a better way to put it. That's genius. I mean, I think that is so neat, especially with your fluorescent collection. So you're going to see some neat things today regarding that as well. Let's see. Can't wait to go through my collection. Exactly. Update soon. I want those updates. 2 purchased. He got the agarine specimen. Remember the agarine from Malawi? That had the parasite and xenotime and potential zircons. If you look hard enough, I'm sure there's one in there. And so very cool. And Hassanite. Well done. Congrats to those who got the gold, quartz, and the alexandrite. I was too slow. I know, Mr. Matt. So were others on those. Again, regretfully, I wish I had more of them. But again, you never know what's really going to show up. And I mean, if I actually told you the story, which I won't go into it, but you guys would probably not find it complimentary of me as far as my organizational methods. But when you've been doing these shows for over 16 years, and every show you bring in new stuff, and then other shows you mix in old stuff, and then to try to get it all back in all these places, and then if you move your house once, twice, thrice, the boxing of it up, and there is still from our flood. Remember 2 years ago? We boxed up, and we had a large credenza that we had bought. Really, we always support these, what are they called? Like Goodwill. Secondhand stores, that's it, that usually support a halfway house or something like that. So besides getting good deals there, we got this big credenza thing that was perfect, and it had a thing that you could push a button and your TV comes up and down out of it. Never did. I mean, you guys probably clever enough, but I was never clever enough to actually make that part work. But that's fine. TV was never going to be down anyway. And if it was, it would create another extra little flat spot where I have no doubt it would have filled with rocks, just like trying to dig a hole in the sand near an incoming tide at the beach. There is maybe a combination of both, at least 200 specimens across the whole top of that credenza that had to be boxed up 2 years ago. Haven't seen the box. Haven't seen any of the specimens. I know the box is somewhere. You know, I know we have it. And that is how things over the years have just gotten like placed in another spot. So, okay, so we bring out some other things, fill it in with other rocks and minerals. That's how we roll. And that's how we rock. And that's how we find things years later that we forgot we had. It's kind of fun that way, actually. Trivia. Name 2 minerals shown today that often have REs, making them radio. Parasite, xenotime, and zircon. Well done. Chelsea filter used to detect what element? Chromium, and cobalt. So you've been doing a little homework. The cobalt part, and that's what I mean by it can be used for other minerals with a little bit of trial and error and note-taking and comparison, and you have to have known items. So it's like I put the long wave UV light over that parcel of emeralds that I offered last week. And if anyone got it that has a UV light, long wave, go over it. You'll find one single emerald that glows red. Now, because of course, emeralds are known to get their color mostly from chromium, right? But also vanadium. And vanadium is like iron. It is a fluorescent quencher. So only one fluorescent. So I thought maybe synthetic emeralds will glow red because they have to add the chromium, and usually the amount of chromium they add is way more than what Mother Nature does. So it reacts a lot stronger. A Chelsea filter will. So, but I looked at the emerald, and it is absolutely 100% genuine all the way. It has some nicks and stuff on it. So that particular emerald was, without a doubt, most likely Colombian, and had a high chromium content with very little iron or other impurities. Iron can play a role in emeralds at times with softening the color to a more yellowish tone, and therefore if iron is substituted at all in the ionic makeup of it, then there's your quencher for the fluorescence right there that a lot of people might think it'll have. So, but it was interesting to see that parcel, and that is how you learn, by doing things like that and then figuring out, okay, well, why is this one red? Is it fake? Is it whatnot? So that's the fun to this. It's just not buy a parcel, put it in a little gem tube, put it up, and then look at it. No, it's get it out, get your equipment out, get your tools out. You know, I'm really tempted to tell a story about that, a true story about that Alexandrite. Maybe next week, because I got stuff to get to. Now I know who got it, and I know I probably piqued your curiosity, but I've got so many stories, real life stories in my head floating around all the time. If I don't kind of try to stay on track, we'll never get to the goods. And Austin's probably back over there nodding his head. Mm-hmm. Okay, Miss Penny. Hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. I hope this finds everyone well and not too much damage from Hurricane Helene. Xenotime, parasite, and zircon, chromium in Northern Australia. Well done. Thank you for another great show. Faves of the week, corduroy was number 1. How sweet. Followed by your homegrown crystals. Good job there. The agarine specimen and the large blue chalcedony. Someone needs that blue chalcedony. That is such a rarity. So I'm glad to see, Miss Penny, that you spotted that. Now, since almost everything in every mineral name has its root in the Greek language. Miss Penny is our go-to gal. I've tried to practice saying your last name. Of course, I wouldn't say it on air, but to myself, Miss Penny, and I would hate to say it for you to hear what it would sound like. But I've practiced it in case I ever have to. But it's a great classic Greek name to everybody. Corduroy, followed by your homegrown crystals, A-ring specimen, and large blue chalcedony. Zenithine comes from the Greek xeno, pronounced, okay, xeno, K-S-E-N-O. So I think that would still be xeno, meaning foreign. Time, as is, doesn't mean anything. But if I pronounce it with a long E, meaning team, means honor or price. So that would be like Xeno team. If that would make any difference. I don't know how to combine them together, probably because I don't know anything about Zenith time. And you know what? I am not sure. I would expect it to be pronounced Zenith time, being that it's converted to the English language. But that'd be curious to know if honor or price had anything to do with the foreign. The first word, xeno. I'm looking forward to your explanation of the Newfoundland and Nova Scotia rocks because I brought similar ones for us. Yes, you can show my young man, now 13 and will be 14 in February, and standing almost 5'7" already. That's it for now. Wishing everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. Penny and Mahalis. She sent us the pictures. We're going to take a look at those in a bit. And some rocks. We're going to go over those in a bit because that's what we do in this show. It is about rocks and minerals and sharing and offering you amazing deals. I went over Miss Penny's rocks, and she'll be interested to find out about them. So we will get to that shortly. All right, let's do the winner. So everybody, it seemed like, had all the right answers. And that means we assign a number to the name, and magic happens. It really does. And the piece always winds up where it is supposed to go. This week, the lucky winner is, speaking of, Miss, ready, set, Miss Penny. You are the lucky winner. Let's show you what you have won. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. A bicolor tourmaline cabochon. Green and pink. And if you, boy, I didn't notice that before. You know, I've been wondering why they capped this, but let me get my other pointer out. This is something to always watch for. Let me move that back in focus, sorry. There it is, a little bit of chatoyance. See that right there, a little chatoyancy. And something as simple as this can sometimes cat's eye. Look at that moving right there. I don't even want to know if it does because I will have just given away something amazing. But isn't that cool? Look at that. That is a neat cabochon. So congrats to you, Miss Penny. I will put that up for you, and we'll be back with the start of the show. Right now, what you are seeing is actually so more rare than you ever actually imagined. Goshenite. Now, type locality, in other words, where it was very first found, was Goshen, Massachusetts, at a particular farm. Now, I actually zoomed into where it was found, and my goodness, it is, I wonder if that deposit's even there, because it looks like it's just in the middle of a bunch of woods. There's nothing much around it, but really interesting that something like this would have been named or found in a place like Massachusetts. We often think of, Brazil, where this particular one came from. Let me show you and get it off of the cotton. I just want to show you how white it is. There is absolutely no tint of color to that whatsoever, making it a true Goshenite. Now, I actually saw, even on Mindat, where dealers were calling crystals with a very light blue color Goshenite. And to me, no, that would still be aquamarine. That, look at that, on a very white tray is the meaning of truly colorless. Truly colorless and flawless at the same time. And yes, I did check it with all the scientific instruments, and it is a genuine barrel. A genuine colorless goshenite. Now, things like acrolite, which is colorless tourmaline, goshenite, fluorite, all those three, to name, there's many others, that without any interfering outside impurities, their natural color by their chemical composition is colorless. So this is the actual color of beryllium aluminum silicate when there is no invasive colors, meaning it is the colors that you see in morganite, heliodor, emerald, allochromatic. Remember that word? Meaning the gemstone gets its color from outside impurities. In its pure form, this is the color that you see. Now, this is absolutely facet grade. So if someone wanted to get that, and it acts as a preform with the way a cabochon is cut. In other words, the top becomes the table, and the crown, and the bottom is the pavilion. So if you want to facet that, you can facet a stunning gem with very little weight loss. But I think part of the rarity is the fact that it's a cabochon. I have never seen that. And that was a bold decision for the cutter to cut it in the form of a cabochon versus faceting it. So, well done on making that choice. I've had this stone for a long, long time, and really don't have much concept of value because you just don't see anything like that in the market. So when in doubt, just make it inexpensive. How's that? Which in this case is, well, only $72, which is what, less than $25 a carat, $20 a carat, 20, yeah. That's my math, $20 a carat. And believe me, compared to a light color aquamarine, or even on aquamarine of a stronger color, the rarity factor of this is so far beyond aquamarine that $72 is a giveaway. It's one of those you couldn't even, I didn't even try. I wasn't going to waste my time. I went to my one site that has things like this, and they didn't have anything like that. I like stuff like spin like that. So, there you go. You know what? And something like that, the other thing you have to watch for is, why did they cut it as a cabochon? I didn't look at it in every way. Is it a cat's eye? Is it there's a star in there? Makes me wonder. And this is, again, now that I'm thinking about it, another one of those. I'm not going to look any further in the light because I would have to pull it off there right then and there and just chalk it up to being a knucklehead. I know, it does kind of look that way, doesn't it? I got Latif on the camera. Remember, Latif's cut stones. He's saying he sees a cat's eye in there. You know, I'm beginning to question why they did not facet that and cabbed it. And I don't even want to orient it in the way to find, I see what you're talking about, Latif. I do. $72. I'm not going to spin it around anymore. We're going to just leave it at that. All right. Let's look at, let me see this first before
Yeah,
before I give it away, as Latif says. Item number 1190824. 1190824. Okay, so look at this. You can see that's been around for a little while. So we'll just take it out of that dirty little container and we'll put it back in this. Look at this. Look at this. Tell me where you're going to find that beauty. And this is in a natural form. Look at that. Okay, so this is completely beautiful facet grade. And it is because I know I was in, that's when, if you see a lot of things, 1992, that was a big year for me when I traveled the world a lot and was in Thailand. I was in Australia. And so this is from Arawata, New South Wales. And this stone is the way it comes out of the alluvial deposit in Horse Gully. And it is a classic bicolor sapphire. And so you can see from this end, look at that hexagonal shape, huh? So now you can actually then get a feel for it because you've seen the hexagonal six-sided shape of so many other corundum crystals. Now you realize, oh, I see the crystal shape to it. It had been in that gully where there's no water now, but at one time there was plenty enough to tumble that guy down the stream, a hardness of 9. That took some serious tumbling. It's like the ones in the Ceylon alluvial gravels. Let me do one more thing here. And if you'll just follow me, Mr. Lateef, up here, let's show this on top of here. And you probably have to, there, look at that. There we go. Look at that. Now, that gives you a whole nother perspective. And let me just turn this around because you're going to get to see. There we go. Wow. Wow. Okay, you get to see it in its plechoic fashion changing from lighter to darker and to its other colors, which if we, now you can see where if you're a good cutter, you could orient that stone to where you could see some amazing blues and probably not see any of the other bicolor part much at all if you wanted to. But look at that. Look at the shape of that. So you know it's not a Ceylon crystal because remember Ceylon crystals are almost always doubly terminated. You can see that this is a, look at the yellow at the very tip on this end. And remember that faceted gem with the blue in the culet that radiated the blue out through the entire gem? Well, that can be the case in something as simple as this. If you don't orient it right, that little bit of yellow at the end might affect the look of the whole stone. But looking at it this way, it's really neat. You can see all the way right down the center of it. And boy, is that stone clean. Thank you, sir. And that is just a crystal. And what a gem it is. What a gem it truly is. Again, one of those that I'm surprised that it wasn't faceted like I am the Goshenite. Goshenite, that is kind of really has my curiosity up. I wish I would have had that kind of curiosity when I was at home pricing it to ponder. I always think what was in the other cutter's mind, you know? I should have gotten into his head a little bit deeper because it made no sense to cut that stone as a cabochon unless there's something else about it that I missed. All right. Look at that. Look at that gem. I just can't get over it because, you know, it's obvious with the 6 sides there. And what a special crystal. What a special piece. So again, turning it different ways, you get to see different colors. How neat is that? Price on this guy is a phenomenal opportunity. And I am going to make it only $58. $58. And certainly if you facet, it would cut a stone well beyond that. And even if you don't, it's certainly worth that as a specimen. Indeed. Now, so many fun things to feature with you today. Let's get to item number, and we're going to get to Miss Penny's picture and her rocks here before long. Item number 120, 9024. Now, look at this. Okay, so I had made up another parcel. I hadn't seen it come back as to whether it was sold or not. So, you know, after a period, after like 3 weeks or so, the goods are available, and then the things that haven't sold are returned to me to refeature. Well, I haven't seen this parcel come back, so I created another one. It doesn't have quite all the shapes the other one did, so it's priced a little bit less, which might be perfect for somebody. Take a look at this. Item number, 120, 90, 25, give it to you. Look at these. Okay, this is a amazing natural color. Now remember, most of your white zircons and all your blue zircons, for the most part, for the most, blue zircons, all treated Cambodian goods. White zircons, treated 2 different ways. To get white zircons, you start with Tanzanian zircons. These are some of the colors they might start with, but probably not as fancy as these. Probably a little bit more of just the champagne ones. These are some really better cut ones that I had. Larger stones. So 11 carats and 5. Look, yeah, these are cut nice. They might have a few abrasions around on the girdle, but for zircon, you're going to expect that. Look at that. Look at that. So that's like a lemon green. And wow, that's a nice oval brilliant for certain. I can tell that will look nice also, if I could pick it up. So you have to remember that most of these are going to be either cut in the country of Tanzania, or if they're old enough before they passed the law when the Tanzanites came available, that they had to be cut in the country, which made sense, so that it would employ, look at that, that's what I mean, no window at all. So it would employ the locals from every stage, from the mining end to the finished product end. But what you end up with is look at the brilliance to that. That looks like a yellow diamond. Now remember, zircon has a very high refractive index, so you get that brilliant look. That's amazing. That's a great cut on that. And so there's another one. Then this really large one. So you get what they call native cuts, which are almost, so they're bought. They're almost always directly sent to Thailand and recut. Unless it's a stone that isn't worth it to recut them by way of value and price per carat. This one, nice, large, great color. These, none of them, look at that, none of them need to be recut. That is a beautiful color with a little kind of olive green color tone to them. So a fantastic parcel, and the entire lot, only $98. So when you look at, so that's, less than $9. What? A carat. I don't think I factored that, Latif, when I was thinking about the price per carat aspect. I don't really know what I was thinking. It sounds better if I say, like, oh, 20 bucks a stone and $9 a carat. Wow. No wonder that other parcel, I'm sure, didn't come back, because for the same reason. Shawn is, these deals are going to run out. I am going to run out of magical inventory. Is going to quit appearing in my house, and then what I have will not probably be as inexpensive as what I have been able to offer you here. Okay, so we had some gemstones. I think it's time for a mineral specimen. What do you think? Ah, yes. So let's go to our Made in the USA collection. You can't get more Made in the USA than from the Ace of Diamonds mine. Item number 1210324. As I'm getting cranked up for Brad's wife to make sure she can hear me in the kitchen. Take a look at this. This is, and if the Raven, she's actually in the office. Hopefully the wall's thick enough she's not here, can't hear me. If the Raven discovers that I swiped this, but I'm only taking back what's mine anyway, right? She swiped it for me to start with. It's really one of the best ones we have. If you knew how hard it is to extract a specimen like this, look at that. Tucked away. This is the way they find them. That has not been placed in there. Well, it's obvious. It wouldn't even fit in the opening. But this is how the very sought after Herkimer quote diamonds are found. Ah, great camera work there, Latif. look at this. So in this rock is like the smaragdite that the rubies are found in Chunky Gal. I mean, I have to use, well, I have a big 20-pound sledge, but a handheld 4-pound sledge to crack the rock. And hopefully in that one break, you see a ruby or something special that tells you to break it up some more. Same way with this. They use huge pry bars and sledgehammers to break it off the seams of this material. I've seen the bank that they work from, and it is hard work. And this is what they're after, a perfect specimen. Look at that. Yep, I didn't show you all the way to the other end. This is a perfect crystal. No visible damage that I can see. And it has your classic. Now, you got to watch also, these can contain anhydro bubbles, especially the Tibetan ones. Now, I have not tilted this one back and forth because I don't want to know at this point, but it certainly has the anthraxolite or the pyrobitumen. The anthraxolite is the carbon inclusions that you see in here. And they're only not found in too many mineral specimens across the world, but oddly enough, they are found in these. Look at that. That is a large crystal tucked away in there. And, you know, you want to leave it in there because it is far more rare for that to be in there. See, it's not moving, so it's not like it's loose. It is, how it grew in there, I think is fascinating in itself, the whole geology behind it. Now, as we spin this around, there's calcite here, which is the other mineral commonly found with this. There's kind of a quartzite type thing material, but it is really more dense than quartzite. But calcite, and the calcite does fluoresce. And there is every chance that there is a pocket inside. Look at even the little ones like that, and inside this boulder, but you would never want to break it down any more than what it is. So once they smacked it and cracked it and opened and got to that one beautiful crystal, you wouldn't dare attempt to go further. But there's every chance in the world that there is more within. There is additional calcites there, and then back to that lovely. That is truly, truly really the best specimen. We had, I don't know, maybe 100 pounds of this material, and we cracked it, and we found, well, you've seen some of the other pieces. By far, this was the best and most complete, perfect specimen in its little vug that you could ever hope for, coming from that mine. Now, there's the Herkimer diamond mine, and there's the Ace of Diamonds mine, which is the other big one. They found a few years back another close by deposit too there that was supposed to be producing some nice crystals, but haven't heard much more than that about it. Price on this guy, a really great opportunity if you want to add a made in America, you know, New York State. You can't get more America than that. And that just seems to me like something that you'd find out west and not the east here. But we have some great quartz, especially even in Georgia here, the amethyst. We have some of the finest amethyst in the United States right here in Georgia. Price on this guy, only $58. Only $58. And again, it all has to do with the specimen. You could have a specimen that would be 10 pounds, and it might only have, and come across this particular type of crystal, and you'd want to stop there because of the way this crystal is situated. Any other exertion or pressure, you don't know. This isn't like it has cleavage planes and breaks in a certain way like fluorite would or calcite might and control the break. You could hit it so that it would actually fracture the one fine piece that you found. So some people have these huge boulders for their Herkimer crystal display, and you know, most of it is non-essential to the display, so to speak. That's why this is a perfect cabinet size and indeed cabinet quality. As I show you the size of it in my hand, you get a good feel for it. Look at that. That's everything you want. Look at that. And that is probably too inexpensive a price for the look that you get. And that's, I've cracked a lot of that material and have mostly been disappointed. So I'm sure many, many people that make the trip up there end up buying their crystal after sweating and, back-breaking work. Just like the Hidnites I offered, they went to other people that had actually gone mining for them, so they definitely made the effort and definitely then earned the right to just get one off the shelf, so to speak. Trust me, on this one, it is so much harder to mine than getting one off the shelf. Just get one off the shelf. This is the one to get, and that's going to save you a lot of money and a lot of broken back. Mine's bad enough as it is. But I tell you what, when the fever of rock hounding, you get me on Chunky Gal, I forget all about my back. Now, I may pay the price for it the next day, but I will crack those rocks like there's, that's the last time I'd ever get to crack a rock. Item 119-1524. Okay, so 119-1524. For you fluorescent mineral lovers, look at this. This is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And boom, there you go. Let me tell you, many special things about this. This is a type of habit, or in other words, type of morphology to the crystal of calcite. And it's called nailhead. When you have these three triangular faces for the termination. And you also have some, I think there's some scalenihedra, dogtooth on this. But yeah, here we go. That isn't what's so impressive. What's really impressive is the fluorescence. We won't try this again, but if there's ever one to be able to show fluorescence, it's this. I shined now I have a couple different wavelengths of ultraviolet light. 395 nm, 365 is the standard classic long wave ultraviolet light that people use. Well, I have a 395 one, a 365 one, so they call it middle. Anyway, we won't get into that. Point being that barely into the fluorescent range, this made, the 395 just made this piece glow, beautiful orange. The 365 made it an incredible red with a hint of orange. So the wavelength of ultraviolet light definitely matters. So Matt, keep that in mind with your ultraviolet collection, that if it doesn't have a reaction under one wavelength of light, of ultraviolet light, try another. And if you're not familiar with the different wavelengths within the long wave band, then just do a little bit of reading up on them, and you'll see that there is different wavelengths within the long wave band of light. And if you actually could go from one to the other, it would be really beautiful to be able to show the orange to the pink to the reddish orange. So the other fantastical thing about this are the pyrites. This is from the Casapolca mine, known for its amazing pyrites. And this displays in every direction. As a matter of fact, I'm not really sure where the contact point was. Wow, look at that. That self-displays. Doesn't even need a stand. It looks like almost a floater. In other words, I don't see where it was connected to the matrix. In other words, broken off from a larger piece. That's not really evident in looking at this. And that is actually a very desirable thing that you'll see to mineral collectors. And they often call them floaters. In other words, they somehow floated in the pocket and crystallized like this without being associated with another piece of matrix or more of the ore body. But you look at the pyrites and the calcites. There is also, I noticed, let me see if I had any other information on that. No, because I ran out of room on the tag. You guys know how I fill it up with as much stuff as I can. Because I'm seeing another ore here. I'm seeing what could be some sphalerite. I saw some grayish dark material here, so maybe some tetrahedrite. That as well. Nope, see, that became pyrite. So maybe it's just the angle, but it's certainly worth doing some close checking up. This is one of the specimens you can look at for a long time under regular light, and then even longer under the ultraviolet light as you search for all the little hidden calcites, like back in there I see. And deep in those pockets, you never know what you're going to find. And it would be undamaged when they are hidden out. So anyway, this is a fantastic specimen, $68. For only $68. That's a lot of bang for the buck. Look at that in my hand. So they actually call that like a medium-sized cabinet specimens. It's funny, cabinet specimens over the years have gotten smaller relative to what they used to be. A cabinet quality medium size is, what it is now. It used to be a large cabinet specimen. So, yeah, what they call a medium wouldn't even often make cabinet specimen. That is so cool because it really does self-display. And look at these little crystals up here. Here it is. Okay, I knew there was something else. Quartz. Look at that. Here we go. Look at that. That's exciting. One moment. Almost done with this piece, but wait, let's give it one more look here, Latif. There we go. Look at that. So you have some wonderful little, they're not druzy size, but great quartz crystals with a pyrite there in the middle of them. So that's extra bonus. Look at that. That is an extra bonus. And it tells me that this is worth looking around for more of the same. That is the fun of it. Okay, so you can turn it this way. Look at that. You get to see almost all calcites. Like that. I thought, well, there's a scalenohedra, but nope, turn it their way, and that's the nailhead. Or you can turn it like this, and there you go. You have mostly all pyrite. You could, it looks like a completely different specimen. Yep. Price on that, only $68. That price isn't going to come down. Nope. That's a bargain. Now, sticking with Peruvian pyrite, let's look at something you've never seen. Item number 120-9524. All right, let's check this one out side by side for a moment. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so here's the two, just so you get an idea of size. Let's put this one away. Look at that. Now that, and remember, this is fool's gold. To me, I don't know. I don't think I'd be too fooled. But if it was mixed in a vein with quartz and whatnot and not crystallized, then yeah, I could probably be overly excited and think I was looking at gold. This is from the Huron mine, which is also known to produce some amazing specimens from the Pasco province. You can see the formation to the pyrites, and then down in between here, you have calcites. We'll give you a little closer look at those as we look into them. Let's see if we can see any further. Let me see, where is that? There's that batch I was looking at. And turn the light. Let's see, is that me making that reflection? I think so.
Your angle is off.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not doing something right there. There we go. There we go. It looks like little botryoidal formations of them. There we go. If we shade that a little bit, there we go. Iris down maybe a little, and you can look at that. You can see the formation. So those, it's just not calcite. There we, perfect job. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, much better. Beautiful job. Okay, so you can, my point being is that's just not mud down in those crevices. No, those are fully crystallized calcites. How cool is that? Now, calcites, maybe, but you're reading, I know, the description. You're saying, you have rhodochrosite up there. What are you talking about, Shawn? Have you lost your mind? I don't see any rhodochrosite. Well, there's two sides to everything, isn't there? Look at that. You do see some pink. You know that rhodochrosite isn't always pink. It is often just a cream color. It just depends on the exact balance of manganese to other minerals that are present as well. And you can see how beautiful and pearlescent these crystals are. So let me just look right in here. And yeah, right over there they are right there. Great shot right there. And you'll find that they're like little florets. They're little groupings of crystals. Let me try my, here we go, my 30X, and see what that gets us. There we go. Much better. And so my point is, this is where the fun is at, is to look beyond just the surface. Look into the crevices and look with magnification, because that is where you can find your untouched treasures, because it's the high points that will get bumped down, right? But it is those areas tucked down in there that are left untouched. And so oftentimes the crystal formations are perfect shape. This, look at that. This self-displays. And you know how excited I get about that. So it actually, at this angle, self-displays well for this way, but there's nothing wrong with that way either. And then let me see if it does anything else. It doesn't have to do anything else. It is remarkable, and Stand would fix that. You have calcite, then sphalerite. Sphalerite, okay, you know sphalerite well. And I'm going to leave it up to whoever gets this specimen to find the sphalerites. I put that in there because if you came across a little black dark crystallization, then you know what it is. Here's the other way you can tell. If you use your fluorescent light, your long wave, I discovered that it will, there on the surface of some of the pyrites, you're going to see orange, a reflection of orange. Oh yeah, with Latif doing that, oh, maybe you'll be able to find you one. And it is that orange reflection that got me to doing some investigation, and it is a surface deposit on the pyrites that creates like an iridescent effect, and however it works, it actually fluoresces orange. Let's see. Sphalerite is so tricky. There was some on the edge here, and it is through the fun of getting a specimen and spend hours looking at it. That's what takes me so long to do inventory, is because by the time I'm showing it to you, I know the specimen well, because I have spent all kinds of time lovingly learning about it again before I part with it. And I can assure you there are many little sphalerite crystals, but they're dark and they are mostly grown on top of the pyrite. And with the pyrite being so reflective, they're difficult to spot. But rhodochrosite blended in. You can have a rhodochrosite side, or you can have mostly a pyrite side. Either way, what a big, you can see the size of it. So that's considered a cabinet size and quality specimen. And it is a fantastic opportunity of only $77. $77. Believe me, if someone walks into your house and starts looking at your mineral cabinet, which you should have one, and remember another whole chapter of when I was, well, not that much younger, but when, and still would, I still have something to do at home. I would go to those like Goodwill places again. You know, it's always good if it helps someone else out. They will have these corner cabinets. They'll have china cabinets, these old cabinets, and they're inexpensive. And then that's why you don't mind drilling the top. And I put in all the different lighting. I put strip lighting in the corners. I put fluorescent lighting in the bottom. I put ultraviolet. You can put anything you want. Then they have so many choices of lighting. The lighting I would go crazy on at the home stores. I have all these switches to be able to light up the light at different times for different, and I use glass shelving. I do not use a mirror. I don't use a mirror. I think that gets confusing and also can throw off the lighting and misdirect it in places I don't want it to be. That's just my opinion. So you can get and restore these cabinets and make them into mineral specimen cabinets. I have a glass cutter that will cut shelves. Really, I thought that was one of the most inexpensive things compared to what my mind thought would be, was cutting and replacing glass shelving. And it's a lot of fun to do. So, point being, if someone walks up to the cabinet and you have all these fine specimens, you may have a rocket pocket tourmaline crystal. And next to it, you may have this pyrite specimen. And you know what they're going to look at first and say, wow, that's really cool. What is that? It's going to be the pyrite. It's going to be the fool's gold. So fool's gold is, out of all your collection, going to be one of the most heard about and familiar minerals to anyone. And even if they necessarily don't even know the word pyrite, they know the word fool's gold. And every collection should have well more than one. They should actually have one to where they can even attempt to bite it, just like the old timers would do. You know, that's what happened to my teeth. I bit one too many pyrites when it was supposed to be gold. You know, that's called hope, and that's called stupidity. But that is the way you contend. And truly, I did it. Yes, you can bite into a true gold nugget. Of course, the higher the carat, the easier, the better. And leave your teeth imprint. Believe me, you cannot do it with a pyrite crystal. Nope, won't do it. Iron sulfide, The other neat thing about, you think that pyrite, being nothing but iron and sulfur, would be very magnetic, right? You can always check pyrite from gold with a magnet, right? Look at that. Nothing. Not a single attraction. It's because of the way it's set up molecularly. It actually, the positives offset the negatives. We won't go beyond that, but that is why, if you ever wondered, well, iron is magnetic, why isn't it? Well, it has to do with more than just the fact of iron. It has to do with the way the chemistry of the way the molecules are aligned. And that will stop right there. Okay, now, I have a few things I'll put up in just a moment because I'm running out of room, but let's get to a couple others. 120, 9724. 120, 9724. I am going to show you the only one I have ever had that was not in matrix. So most people always want a matrix specimen, right? I know I do. I always like matrix specimens. Well, this is one time that it's actually nice to not have it as part of the matrix because the matrix isn't all that attractive all the time. Look at that. A blue barite crystal that is not in that that limonite, dirty, hard to get rid of type of material. Now, granted, it still looks attractive, the blue against the type of limonite these are found in, but this crystal individually really gives you a much better feel, so to speak, for the barite itself. On top of that, let me show you, if you haven't already noticed, there is some incredible iridescence that you can see in this particular crystal. Now, I haven't seen that in all barite crystals, but this particular one, just the way it formed, really has some attractive iridescence in it. And if you didn't ever wonder or hold a barite specimen, specific gravity-wise, it's really heavy. Most people, the only closest thing they come to relating to barite is when you have to drink that barium solution, whatever, to then, well, it's usually, I think, a radioactive type thing for stomach issues, and they can see and follow the barium where it goes and whatnot, and that's how they hear of the word barium, which is, of course, produced from barite. Barite is one of the primary ores of barium. That's a beautiful crystal, and it's heavy. It's heavy. It's a heavy element. Personal collection piece. All right. Price on this guy makes it an affordable opportunity for something that, again, is difficult to find by itself like that. I can offer a specimen in the matrix, but it wouldn't be as nice of a crystal for the price of this. But this one, I'm just going to make it a good deal. 78, it should be $28. $28. And a really excellent find. Let's look at item 120, 99, 24. 120, 99, 24. And let me see. I always have these all wrapped up, so I often don't get to see them again until I unwrap them. Oh, yes. And then it's a treasure all over. This is a neat piece. Let me show you. Okay. So you have seen your share of aqua specimens that I've offered you, right? All right. Why is this any different or special? Well, because there's two sides to everything in there. And I'm showing you only one side in particular. All right. So when you see a formation like this is, of course, where another crystal had laid up against it, or this grew up against it and not grew as part of it. And that's always kind of cool to see. It's always not necessarily aqua that may have laid up against it. Here is the neat thing. All right, first, you see these two additional crystals on the side. That always makes it aesthetically attractive. And as I spin this around, here's another one of those negative remnants of where another crystal had grown. And look at that. Those are really, to me, attractive as part of the geology of the crystal. And as I keep turning this, look at this. Now, you say, well, what is going on here? That's a broken crystal. No, not at all. Not at all. You can see the striations, so you can see that the original crystal face was right there. And what it ran into was a shoral, a black tourmaline crystal that you can see by the, well, almost complete triangular shape, but you can see where it was becoming one, where this crystal had continued on and the aqua grew around it. There's a little remnant. I love when there's little additional crystals like that of aqua having grown with it. And then there is, you can see the triangular shape to this one right there. Now, this, as we look down in it, look at how beautiful that iridescence is. Just a really unusual and attractive iridescence to that. And then incredible natural color to this piece. So you have a multi-stage growth going on here, and completely unique from looking at it from the front to the back. Always look on these really carefully for any anhydros. They're definitely possible, and I don't check them all out for that. And then let's see, there's one other little unique place right there. And let me see, let me just backlight this for a minute. I think there was something else, I'm just forgetting it. Look how beautiful the color is in that. That's really attractive. Oh, I know what it was. I knew there was something. I should read the graphics and it would tell me the iridescent phantom. Okay, that's it, the iridescent phantom. And let me see if I can bring that out to you. There's a phantom in here that, let me see with Latif's help if we can, there we go. If you kill, yep. And I saw it by backlighting this, and it follows the contour. It's unlike other phantoms. It follows the crystal shape of the exterior, and it is iridescent at that. And it was just a exact amount of lighting is how I discovered it. But it's going to follow that exterior three sides that you see. And if I had a third hand, I could show part of it to you now. And it stands out really well once you find it. If I do this and find it in hydro in there, I'm claiming it as mine. It is really unique. So that's why you see the comment about there with the iridescent phantom, and it is there. Hold on one second. But again, I only discovered that by playing with the crystal, by messing around with it until I hit the sweet spot of it revealing itself, which is what you're going to have to do. And then it's like, wow, okay, that's cool. And it'll help you just figure out and how to look at future ones. It's there. Thank you, sir. You just have to trust me on that one. And I'll leave it to you to find. Won't it be able to be found without using any lighting? Wow, that is an amazing iris in that piece. So anyway, you get the idea. It's there. Actually, you can actually see what I was looking for kind of right there. Okay, there it is. You can see that darker blue line right there. Except it becomes more pronounced. But that's what you're going to find when you get the lighting right. You can actually see that. So all that for that. All right, price on this guy. I have an excellent opportunity for you. And then I'm going to have to clean up my my mess here. And then I'll be right back. But price on this is, wow, how about only, make it $48. $48. That's a sale price. Never been shown before, but make it $48. Okay, I'll be right back after I put up some of these items. Okay, Miss Penny, it's your time to shine from your trip to a place very few of us have ever been, Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Now, you starting off in Quebec makes it a little bit easier, but I just want to show everybody that anybody can find rocks that are cool and have meaning. Now, look at something as simple as this. She brought this back, and boy, that looks like almost a rock, right? Well, as the Raven says, there's no such thing as an ugly rock, and there's no such thing as an unimportant rock. And I agree with her, because I checked this one out, and guess what? Fluorescent. This has red fluorescence in all those brownish areas that you see, and other parts of it as well. So I would normally say that it has some calcite in it, but I cannot see much calcite, and not exactly sure what's going on with that. But again, any rock with a unique optical properties about it makes it interesting and special. You get things wet and you start seeing things like those. It starts to make crystals kind of stand out. Those definitely look like another type of mineral. All right, so we'll set that aside for a minute. This one, she talked about being from Newfoundland, and she said it broke easily when she dropped it, and she wasn't sure what it was. The black and green rock, she noted. I want to show you exactly what you have and what you left behind. Look at this. This only broke because it is a type of jasper, and you can tell by the fracture, and I did a hardness test, and that's one of the first things you can do to be able to determine what something is. And it is as simple as taking something like, okay, your tweezers are made out of hardened steel, so they're going to be a hardness of like 5.5, and it's always good to know where you start off at for hardness, because whether it's above the 5.5 range or below, that is half. Actually, in this case, something like this, the majority of your identification will come just from the hardness. So on this one, I just did a simple hardness test with my tweezers. All right, it's like, oh, that looks terrible. Well, no, that isn't terrible. What that is that is the tweezer metal that is being ground off on the rock. If I take this rock and then you see the metal here, and this is how hardness is done, and if I just go across the line like that, and if I just make sure I wipe it off, well, right there you see the scratch. Let me just get the light on it there. You see the scratch right there. So in other words, this rock is harder than hardened steel, which puts it most likely, of course, with the banding, into the cryptocrystalline quartz, which is and I can tell by the fracture. This is a jasper, or what they call a jasper agate type combination. And I have bought this material before when I was 18 for stone cutting. This would cut fantastic cabochons. It would tumble and polish beautifully. So this is actually quite a special rock, much more so than what you might have thought. Now, here is this one. Here's your bag of rocks that you have noted from Nova Scotia. And I was looking at these, and these are just 2 pieces of quartz, but nicely tumbled by, I guess, the ocean. Here are 2 pieces of granite. You have granite here, except this is granite with more of a calcic granite. Has calcium present. It also fluoresces in different areas of the stone, and guess what? See, that looks like calcite right there. Also, it would be feldspar if it's granite, and feldspar will fluoresce as well. So that's what the other thing you have to check for is feldspar fluorescence. And this is showing it. It also has a slight radioactive signature, which most granite does, because most granite contains REEs, rare earth elements. Now, here's the prize out of your batch. And look at this first, everyone. Look at how tumbled. Look, what would it take to tumble a piece of granite this round? And this one, broken in 2, but let's take a look. Here is, of course, the Geiger counter. I'm going to turn the noise on. Drive lots of crazy. Okay, well, you can see it already jumped up. All right, so most of the time the ambient counts per minute, and you can see CPM here in the corner, counts per minute is in the 30 to 50 range. Don't run away yet. Let's see. So it's in the normal range, what you're seeing it in. So when we move this in front of it, you can hear it tick, 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 and you can see it going up outside of its range into a 50 to 90 and potentially higher, depending on exactly how I turn this. Now, if I look at this, you can hear it ticking away now. And so I turn this in different ways around it, and in one particular direction, there was a higher reading it gave, and you have to do it on a kind of an average. So it'll go up and down, but if the up and down average, the highs and lows are higher than the ambient UV reading around you, then you know that the higher signature is coming from what you are measuring. So I'm turning this in the background, and that's why you're seeing different readings, higher or lower. And so what can happen, all it takes is one little REE in an area of the rock, and it can shoot the measurement up. And that's how you can find a particular mineral sometimes that is in the piece. And of course, it would help also, Shawn, if it says right there, remove before using. That's kind of like, you know what? One time I didn't put the plug back in my boat after I got it back from the repair shop. And the biggest thing they stamp on the invoice is put the plug back in your, it's in the well of the boat. So back in, and I didn't. And I sunk my bass boat almost all the way. I was stupid, but I'm so stupid, I'll tell the story on myself because it was really embarrassing. But luckily, the boat was built. It was a really nice heavy bass boat with flotation inside the hull to keep it from totally sinking, and I was able to get it up to speed to drain it. You can see right now where I'm holding it, how high of a reading compared to the normal reading. Now, there's the angle. So something in this area is causing that. I did and of course I wouldn't be able to know. It is something in this. This is granite, so there's biotite mica in here, and there's feldspar, and there's quartz, and there's calcite. Here's the interesting thing I found. Let me turn this noise off. This is what I detected for the most fluorescence, and it is explainable right in here. If you look at the shape of this, it is a triangular shape, and to me, it appears like what would have been a calcite crystal. Now remember, calcite can dissolve at really low temperatures, and it can be destroyed really easily. It's soft material. And so it might be a remnant of calcite, because this fluoresces right in here pretty nicely. So it does look like another crystal had been there and left, especially by way of color, left something behind. So no one would know that unless you have neat little gizmos like UV lights and a Geiger counter to be able to detect beyond what you see. But even just what you see is a beautiful, beautiful rock with a lot of other minerals in it. Now, another quick look are the items. These came, what does it say, from middle northern Avalon Peninsula in Newfoundland. All right, so water's the key to be able to really look into these. What I found was this is the coolest stone. All right, look at this. And look at the tumbling from this was not from a river. Now, there's a lot of glaciation, and a lot of times you tell glaciated worn rocks from seashore tumbled rocks. These are more seashore tumbled rocks from the waves crashing over the rocks over and over and storms keeping them churned and them just rubbing up against each other over time. Look at how beautiful this one is. Look at that. That would tumble to an exquisite high polish. It has just a high level of quartz. I thought there might be some fluorescence in there, but no, it's not calcite or anything. It is just a probably an iron stain portion of the quartz. And these all seem to be, look at that. These would tumble beautifully. They're hard material. This is the other one that was real attractive, I thought, to me. But this one had a slight radioactive signature to it. So when you see them like this, and the difference between wet and dry is tremendous. I don't know if you got one of those tumblers when I had offered the ones that I had for sale. Look at that. These are, you would only have to use maybe 400 grit and then 600 and then to the polish. The toughest part is the 60 grit or the 120 grit to get them down to this shape from what they were started at. So nature did all the hard work. You have the easy work to do would only be to throw them in a tumbler, and the rest come out amazing. So really, really neat find, and that you can see just how stunning that is. Now, of course, we know you are from Greece, so we know you didn't go to Greece, but let me just show a couple cool pictures, and I won't include the one, but I will include the one of your son. So look at this. Jumping off a cliff right in the water. You know what I was looking at? First thing I looked at was the rocks. I mean, I'm sorry, I know. But I looked at rocks, everything from this kind of unique formation to look at the stratigraphy, the incline of the rocks. And you can know that these are mostly limestone, even though there is a difference between this, and this. And look at the uplifting it took to take them from, of course, level with the sea up to those heights there. That is uplifting. Then, of course, I know you might have taken them for the beauty. I look at them for the rocks. She did it so well. She has notes on the back. So there's a Speleon cave near I won't try to speak the Greek words. The cliff is almost 90 degrees up. So you can see that there's probably a way to get into a cave right there. I went to a cliffside like this in Thailand, and it was just like this. There was a parking lot at the bottom, and there were nothing but monkeys up the side of it. It was crazy how they climbed up there, and I thought, that's what I thought I would remember that. So look at the road, and that was a cool picture. This is a postcard. I cannot believe you actually took this picture. I mean, look at the reflection in the lake. You get a sense of size by the little boats down there. But look at the colors. I mean, and you said you only crop them, you don't Photoshop them or anything. So that is a great picture. That, out of all your pictures, was one of the ones that impressed me the most, especially with the mirror image in that lake. I mean, not even a wake of a boat in the lake. Great photo. Oh, that is the White Mountains, the only freshwater lake in Crete, Lake Kornos. My Greek. It's all Greek to me. I know, you've heard that joke before. So that's interesting, the only freshwater lake. I wonder why. I wonder what's at the bottom, what's creating that. Look at that. Well, we got to turn it the right way. So this is Zeus Cave in Lasitho Plateau in Crete. Wow. Wow. Now those are some serious speleotherms right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Creek, and then I have right here Nova Scotia. And I cherry-picked the ones out that had more to do with the geology, as you wondered about the rocks. So you look at the large size boulders even having a tumbled effect. Now, glaciation would have contributed to some of that, but when you see, it looks like actually some old asphalt in some of these areas. But boy, some of these rocks with the additional mineralization like that is what's curious to me. I would have, oh, she did tell me that if she was caught, she didn't know until afterwards, caught collecting some of those rocks, there would have been a fine, which there is. I can't believe people, you can't even take a rock, you know? But I guess if it's national parks or monuments and things like that, I understand. If everybody took one rock, I've heard the stats before, but us rock hounds sometimes just can't help ourselves. I bet they let you take some seaweed. That is Queensland Beach near Halifax, Nova Scotia. This reminded me of when I was in New England and up in Maine, of just the little harbors. It is like a picture-perfect scene of how I think of places like Halifax or Nova Scotia. Just a really beautiful fishing town. Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Well, that counts for a whole lot. Look at this. I had to figure out how to orient the picture, and luckily your words on the back help. Blue rocks from Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. Again, you have to see this is a lot to do with glaciation, even though you see the foliation of the rock and how it can be split away. But when you see the movement and in all the same direction, remember that ice can rip apart anything as a moving glacier. So a lot of times you'll get exactly that kind of scraping type look. And when it's over foliated rocks, it can certainly cleave them off, so to speak, like that. But then weathering, freezing, and water gets between these cracks. That's exactly the power of water. And it freezes, and it will split a rock easier than dynamite, just not quite as quickly. That's a beautiful shot, a beautiful shot. And then lastly on the tour is when you made it to Newfoundland. Never been there either. Look at the sunset there. Had to include that. Even though that wasn't on the ground, it was in the sky. Beautiful nonetheless. And sunset through the clouds, St. John's, Newfoundland. Look at this. I had to read the back to make sure that you had your camera set right, because blue rocks, I guess that's the Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia. Look at the color of those. That's gorgeous. You didn't get one of those? I couldn't tell you much about those blue rocks. Maybe you can. Look at the lighthouse. Everybody loves a lighthouse. I've always wanted to buy one. I see these other people that buy them and convert them to a home. Always want to do that. The new lighthouse at Cape Spear. I think of Cape Fear. If anyone's seen that movie, Cape Fear, or the two versions of it, I like the original one. That's a great movie, by the way. Watch Cape Fear. Look at that. And I love the multicolors. And then with that mountain in the background, that's not what the way I picture. That's Petty Harbor, Northern Avalon Peninsula, Newfoundland. I picture it more rocky than that. That's really beautiful. And then again, that's like out of a postcard. The calm and stillness of the water. Newfoundland. Our Lady of Lourdes Grotto. My mom would have loved to have gone there. So I take it that this is a cave. And how neat. Flat Rock, Northern Avalon Peninsula, Newfoundland. That would have been neat to have explored and seen that. Look at the birds, ducks, not sure, cormorants. Let's see, Forby, Northern Avalon Peninsula, Newfoundland. And then those unusual rocks. Look at all the rocks, how rounded and tumbled looking they are. And then you have these poking up through them. This is quite the, I'd go nuts. Look at this. I had to look at this picture multiple times to see exactly what I was looking at. And then my mind had to go from two-dimensional to three-dimensional to figure out that these little specks, that's the top, are floating on the water. So, and the rocks are underneath that. But look at the color of the rocks. My pockets would have been so full. That is, what a gorgeous picture of just Mother Nature. Middle Cove Beach, Northern Avalon Peninsula. So that's the way it was oriented. There is her man. He started off as our youngest rock hound. He really still is. We're going to have to work Corduroy into the scene. Corduroy loves rocks and minerals, and I'll show you what we got him for his birthday. Because when he said his birthday was October 9th, it's like, wow, that's right around the corner. How perfect. I did give him an opal. You guys didn't see that, but at the end of the show, for being a good boy, I gave him an opal for his birthstone. It was a faceted Ethiopian opal. That is Mahalis. That is the little guy I think we first introduced. She introduced him when he was what, 8 or 9 or something like that. And now turning 14, 5'7". What a great looking kid he is. And I couldn't believe how young he is for how old he looks. Look at how gorgeous that is. Look at that. That's my kind of country right there. Northern Avalon Peninsula, Newfoundland. Boy, I think that's where I want to go, is that part of Newfoundland. Rocks. Let's see how this is oriented. Here we go. This is rock formations after glaciers melted. Blue rocks, Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. See, after, that's what you get from glaciation, is those striated type of looks from the grinding of the ice against them, the power of ice. Boy, that looks pretty. It looks almost like Stone Mountain. North Atlantic, just past St. John's Harbor, Newfoundland. I wonder what's back in there. Maybe, what's that movie the kids like? Even my son likes. What are they called? They went on that gold quest. Yes. What was that again?
Goonies.
The Goonies, that's it, the Goonies. I think of that, the Goonies. You know, they actually found a shipwreck in an Oregon cove that they think might have contributed to the story. But anyway, that's pretty neat. Look at the fence up there. So might be something going on. That might be one of those sea caves. Well, might be right there. Newfoundland, speaking of sea caves, how beautiful. Anyway, Miss Penny, thank you so much for introducing us to a place that few of us have ever been, and few of us will probably ever go. And I really enjoy rocks. So thank you for taking me to a place I haven't been. All right, let me pick those up. I'll be right back. Okay, I have something. I have not offered one of these in a long time. It's the only one I have left, at least that I know of. And let me tell you, I just told Lateef that I said I'm going to regret even offering, and I know why I probably kept it, because I've had my, I always do fluorescence when it comes to diamonds. Let me give you some quick facts. A diamond, the faceted kind that you have in rings, 1 in 10 will have a degree of blue fluorescence. Okay, so it's actually a great way to check a ring real quick. And I'm talking about earth mine. I am not talking anything about lab-grown diamonds. I don't even want to know much about them. I just, ugh. Anyway, 1 in 10 will fluoresce some degree of blue. Yellow fluorescence, 1 in 1,000 will fluoresce yellow. I used to collect the yellow fluorescent diamonds that we would get and that we would break out of old rings, you know, in other words, scrap the gold. And, you know, all these clusters, when we went through that cluster period, a waterfall cluster, cluster this, cluster that. Well, a lot of people ended up scrapping and melting them, so you couldn't resell them or anything. So I would check the diamonds for the yellow ones, and I'd keep the yellow. And I ended up with only, out of all those years, only a few, not many yellow. That is how rare yellow fluorescence is. Outside of yellow and blue fluorescence, the degree of commonality goes to 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, and beyond. The extremely rare. Now, to give you an idea, the Hope diamond, which we know is a steel blue color, will fluoresce red due to 1 part of boron per million. In other words, out of 1 million atoms of carbon, which is, of course, what diamond is made of, 1 atom of boron per 1 million of carbon will produce that red fluorescence that the Hope diamond is known to have, that very few people actually know that part of it. So red fluorescence, extremely rare. Colors, green, pink, orange. All those other colors of fluorescence are extremely rare. Well, guess what? This necklace has them all. It has green fluorescent crystals in it. It has red fluorescent crystals. I even led in the order there, red, and not necessarily the order, but as far as what was impressive to me, the red, the pink, then the yellow, the orange, the green, the blue. This was mined about 20 years ago. Ah, great. I was going to ask you to zoom in. You read my mind. Now, these crystals are the way they came out of the ground. Let me get my pointer here. You can see some, really natural crystal forms, some more so than others. You can look at it. That's actually a natural yellow diamond. These are Australian diamonds, which is also really cool. Australian stones. And they are in a crystal form, but, some more crude than others. They're not like those, perfect bipyramidal cubic crystals that in our mind we want to see. Some have fantastic clarity. But forget all that. Every one of them is drilled. How in the world do you drill those? Let me show you. Okay, so that's why it's, king, because it's not made, well, you can wear it just as it is if you want. Okay. For those of you that do your own stringing, don't do anything. You can pull this up, uncrimp it, you can pull this up and you can make it and add to it whatever length you want. Or this is a metal wire. You can take them all off the wire. You just might have to use a magnifier to put them back through the wire, but no problem. How neat if you want to create your own necklace with these in between, or just use these as they are. I would not, especially since they are on a really nice, strong metal wire, leave them like that. But you can definitely easily take this crimp piece, and I could slide it up it right now if I wanted to. So that's all adjustable, and so don't worry about that. Personally, to me, I would, in a dark room, let your eyes adjust, get out my 365 nm ultraviolet light and short and long wave, and then I would take them all off of here, and I would separate them by color. And the pink ones and the yellow ones and the green ones, I don't know. I would just want to see what I had, because as a necklace, it's neat. And you can restring them if you want, but restring them then and maybe group the stones together under fluorescence, and then to impress your friends who know about those things, then they can see all of them to kind of grouped, that you had a group them together around there. I don't know. Some kind of idea in mind in your restringing them if you're going to go through the effort of taking them off. Oh, look at this one right up here. It only, because it stood out. Okay, and I remember this one. See where it's drilled? Look at that. Look at that crystal, though. That is cool as can be. You know what? I remember this one. Oh, look at that. See, I should have taken that one. Oh, sorry, guys, but it would have been too much effort. I should have. That is unique. That is really a unique diamond, and it reminds me of what they call, if it was like a quartz crystal, a scepter. In other words, narrower at the bottom and wider at the top. This happens to fluoresce an incredible orange, if I remember correctly. That one crystal, because it stands out. An amazing orange. Uh-huh.
One on the other side.
Yeah, I noticed. I wondered about that. I wondered if they did that intentionally. I saw that there was one opposite, almost directly opposite it. So there's that was elongated like that as well. Actually, look at the shape of that one. See, this is where you have fun. You just don't buy the necklace and put it up. No, you get it out and oh yeah, look at, and get all your equipment out, and you will have so much fun. I did not intend to spend the time on this when I was doing it until I got the fluorescent light out, and then I was blown away. Look at this one. This is almost a white diamond, and that is a yellow diamond. the fluorescence, when I saw green fluorescence, blue, and this is natural fluorescence. They just weren't, of course, of gem quality, but they were of quality good enough not to use as diamonds to grind up. No, they have plenty of lab-grown synthetic ones they use for that now. This, I had at one time, I think over 50 of these at least. And they were like a light champagne, a darker champagne. Some I called a platinum color, so they were more a whitish color. So, and you see where I put Earth Mind? To me, that is going to be important down the line, because there's going to be so many of these lab-grown diamonds blended in with Earth Mine diamonds that it needs to be a distinction, a word of distinction, something used, because you can't put natural. If you put natural diamond, that does not tell you that they're naturally earth-grown. No. You can have use the word natural, and I learned this back with the amethyst deal. When they would advertise natural amethyst, well, yes, chemically it is natural amethyst, but it's not naturally grown. That was the term I would always use. Yes, they're natural, but are they naturally grown? And in this case, of course, yes, they're all naturally grown. The fluorescence is amazing, and it truly is something I have hung on to it, but now I guess I'm sharing it. Okay, so, and for 14 carats and the price for something so unique is a great opportunity. Only $188. $188 for that many carats of fun and collectability, because at the end of it, you're going to have a collection of some of the rarest fluorescence in diamonds that anyone would have. They don't put pink fluorescent diamonds in a ring. I have never, ever, out of the millions of diamonds I've probably seen over a lifetime, I've never seen anything other than blue or yellow. But I knew those other colors existed. The Hope diamond is a perfect example. Where are they? Where were they? Well, this necklace was an example of where some of them are. I just don't think that they make it to the market. I think that, of course, the diamond miners, the De Beers, they're scooping them up. They're putting them in their own personal collection for a rainy day. They're setting those rare stones aside, in my opinion. Item number 1209824. Now, this is, yes, sir. That was 1209824. Move this over, move this out of the way, and what you're getting ready to see is something we talked about earlier regarding the aquamarine. Let me just stand this up on its own. 2 of these in this offering. Look at that. Now that is an easy phantom to be able to tell. Remember when I was, you missed last week, Latif. Didn't you? Did you see my homegrown crystals? Mm-hmm. Okay, you saw the 2 colors fluorescence in them? Okay, great. These, even those crystals that I grew myself, when I got curious and I lifted them up out of the solution and put them back in, that simple act was enough to create a phantom for the next stage of growth after that. And basically, the same thing happens here. Now, this is where the crystal was growing, something caused it to stop and then start again. And it can either be a dust of chlorite that you see. It could be something as simple as minute micro air bubbles, minute micro water vapor bubbles, because water is the most common inclusion in quartz, and that's why you often see irises created by that film of water. In this case, it's really easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count 7 right there. And if you turn it at a particular different other angles, you can often find other ones you wouldn't normally, like see from the side here, how close some of these are together. But look at that, from every different angle. Now these are polished sides. So they're the natural faces of the crystal. They just have been polished so that you can view, look at that. So this angle, you can actually see the complete crystal itself and the terminations from that angle. It's just amazing when, I love every one of these. I wish I had all the ones that I've ever sold back and had a huge collection of them. See how close some of these are together? Beautiful. Now this one is like the only one I've ever seen of its kind, because for one, it's kind of citrine colors. I've actually never seen even a light citrine color one. And I thought, okay, for one, this is where other crystals have grown up against it, but molecularly didn't bond with the crystal, and so therefore it was able to be separated from it. And so what you're left with is where the crystal had grown, this one either grown up against it or the other one. Now, I was thinking, well, where's the phantom in this? And then I got to looking, and here, all the way at the bottom, you can see there's a little mountain right there. I thought, okay, so that's enough to call it a phantom, but let's keep looking at this. And as I looked at it, there, I said to myself, I bet there's more. How do I find the rest of the story? Well, let me see here. Let's try this, Latif, if you work your magic. And there's an angle here on the crystal. If we go in close, and if I wave my magic wand just right and wiggle my nose all at the same time, they're going to mysteriously appear, and poof, they did. See, the confidence I have in myself. I mean, this is where you shoot this like a live show. And when I did the live show for 9 years, I would do things just like this. And if I looked I always said in doing the show, if I sound stupid, I sound stupid. There's no cleaning it up. There's no redoing, and we shoot this show just like a live show. So if I can't find something I say is there, then, well, I put it off on you guys, or, then I just, it was a whoopsie daisy. Here we go. Look at here. Did you see them? 1, 2, 3. You can see them right there. And that's what I said. When you have these items, you can't just look at them quickly. You need to take the time to, or let's say invest the time to learn about them. You can see right there 3 more, and I happen to know, and I'll leave it to all of you, so you can see the one right down there easily enough that starts. There's 7. I counted 7 of them in this one as well. So 7 different phantoms in each one, at least. Yep. And let's spin it around this way and see if it does anything different. But you have to get them just at the right angle to be able to view some of them. All of them aren't like that first one I showed you. Some you have to tilt just at the right angle, and that's the fun to it. So now that I showed you they're actually there, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to rediscover it. And it has to do with the lighting. It has to do with the background color of how you find them, and which way you look through the crystal. Sometimes they're visible from every side like that other one. Other times they're not. This one here, there we go. There's one, there's another there, and so on. Anyway, I'll leave the fun to you, because I could sit there and play with those all day long. Just that's the joy in it. Price for both of them, only $42. Only $42 on those guys. And great opportunity. All right, now, I gotta keep moving. Got lots to do. Here we go. Item, what in the world? Let me see, make sure this is what I'm thinking it is. Don't know, let's see. Oh, sweet. Item number 1209324. 1209324. Check this out. Now, this could be called a miniature or a thumbnail specimen, but it's totally really not that small. Look at this. Is that not one of the most gorgeous crystal clusters you have seen, especially for its size? Now, this is what I'm talking about. When you go to Minda, or go to one of these mineral sites, and you look at the picture, perfect shot there, Latif. Look at even the mirror image of that. And you see it, and it's like, oh, wow, I wish I owned something like that. That must be $1 million. That was, and then you look at the size of it, and it'll say, 30 millimeters by 20 millimeters. Well, this is where it's really important for you to always remember your conversions. 25, just roughly 25. It's 25.3, I think, millimeters to an inch. So just remember 25 millimeters to an inch. So if you see 30 millimeters, it's something only a little over an inch. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know. This one's 28 by 23. So a little over an inch one way, a little less than an inch the other way. Unless you have a comparison for size or know the dimensions are put up, which always should be, and you understand the dimensions, whether it's in millimeters or whatever it may be in, then you have no concept of the size. And you might think you're looking at a museum quality specimen. It is so important to have something relative for size. Now, let's go back and explore this specimen, because there's lots to look at. For one thing, look at the lavender up here. Okay, I know you've already looked at the graphic, so you're going to know that that lavender is lepidolite mica. Look at these. At first thought, maybe you'd think that they would be tourmaline. That's when your knowledge of crystallography, which you do have one, you've been developing it over this time. When you look at the 3 sides versus 6 sides to an aquamarine, then you know it's not an aqua and you're looking at tourmaline. This is a really neat little crystal, by the way, that comes across it. You can see the lepidolite across the back. And let's keep looking. This in every direction is beautiful. You have the lepidolite, which is like this. See this pearlescent surface? That's one of the ways you can tell lepidolite. It will often have a pearlescent type of surface to it. And let me show that to you a little closer. And that is a giveaway. Let me see, where is it? There it is. A giveaway for it to be, there it is, shining right there, mica. And especially in its classic, great job, Latif. There we go. That in its classic form. Now, you won't see muscovite doing that as commonly as lepidolite. So when you see that lavender color tone and that pearlescence to it, it doesn't have to be foliated and just in flat sheets for it to be a mica. Look at the clarity and all the direction of these crystals. That's how you know it is a specimen, probably not for the United States, probably not from Brazil. And it is. It's from the Lagman mine, which is a well-known mine in Afghanistan. Look at these colors. And it's known for these type of tourmalines with the lepidolite. Now, there's another bonus here. You have another crystal that is, wow, look at how beautiful that is. Potentially aquamarine. So let's see if we can find that. So you can study on it. Look at these colors. and figure it out. And this is to the extent that I look at these. I look at them extensively for all kinds of little goodies, but there's only so much time. See that roundedness again there, and that pearlescence to the lepidolite. And sometimes crystals can be so covered up you can't even see them that well. But you certainly don't want to peel back any of the other minerals to find them. This displays beautifully in every direction you put it. As a matter of fact, I guess maybe I would say down here would be the contact point, but then this little crystal right there kind of throws it off. Let me see if it stands on its own right there. No, that little crystal is in the way. There is, I'm not seeing it now. See, this is one of those moments that, where is the aqua? Where is the aqua? There is a crystal that it did not fit with the others. And aquamarines at this particular mine were definitely associated with these specimens also. So that's how you look at some of the other really cool things, like the irises there. And look at that in beautiful lavender color tone. So this is one of those cases where you look at every crystal and try to find where it starts and where it finishes to see if there is a look at how beautiful that is, and look at that, to see if there is a shape other than the classic tourmaline shape that would lead you to think, I think it's right here actually. Yeah. I think it's right here. You can see a partial top of the crystal, and I think there's more like 6 sides to it. But that's part of the fun, and that's why I even put in the graphic, which I hardly ever do, possible aqua. I'll leave it to you guys to figure it out. I have enjoyed and loved on that piece long enough. Look at that. I'm telling you, that is a showy piece, and I am offering that for as a miniature, really great opportunity. For only $88. Only $88. And that has a really strong oomph factor for the money. My goodness. All right, let me get going. Item 120, 9124. 120, 9124. Look at this. I'm not taking them out. Look at this. This is a Muso Colombian emerald crystal in matrix parcel. I say I'm not taking out. I just can't help myself. Only because, let me just show you. The one crystal here is stunning. Now, I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know if someone attempted to tumble these to remove some of the matrix. Sometimes some of the mica matrix or feldspar matrix, some of the on the outside, and sometimes they'll tumble them to remove some of that. Now, a regular mineral lover wouldn't necessarily do that. They'd mechanically do it. But you can tell by the mix of the matrix with the quartz and the calcite that this is definitely Colombian goods, and likely Muso. And all of these have just some of the classic colors. Look at this one. At this point, if you just finish tumbling them in just a high polish, they would look great. Look at that. This is full of small, little crystals. It makes me wonder what they looked like before this had been done to them. Or had these washed out somehow and gotten in a river stream and were alluvially tumbled. I'm just not sure. But that is a fantastic collection of 5 pieces and a fantastic pricing opportunity on those for the 5. And I'm going to make those 5 only $77. $77. And what a fine collection that would be really difficult to get otherwise. Here's a real beauty. Here's the money shot right there. Look at that. That's the one. You look at the 6 sides, a perfect crystal shape. And then let me add a little bit more color to that, a little bit more light to it. You really get to see some of that classic Colombian color tone to it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, love this stuff. Just never have enough time to love it long enough. Okay, next, item number 120, 8724. This is a piece I had tucked away for a long time because it was special out of the bunch. Anna King, remember, my silver designer and maker. Well, this is sterling silver. It has a nice snap-on safety bail. You can see this is with large enough for classic Anna King logo. And look at the carving. Now, this normally is ruby in zoisite, right? In this case, this is not actually zoisite. It is what we used to call shermikite, but they have corrected it to be, it's pargasite. All the black that you've ever seen in these. Let me show you. Lighting it from the background. Pargasite is actually a very dark green mineral. Instead, a lot of people think it's black. Well, it's because they don't backlight it or be able to get enough light to look at it. So you can see right there, and it is a pargasite, which is really actually rare to have just the ruby and the pargasite versus this actually comes with one of the original tags, which is, we don't have any of those left. We've sold all of our items. This was just one I had tucked away for a long time. Beautiful sterling silver, wonderful rubies in this piece. Great fluorescence to the rubies, by the way, and a great opportunity price-wise, because these have gone way up as opposed to what they were. $88 on the whole piece, $88, and that would cost me well more than that to replace it. Okay, let's keep going. I have next item number 1209224. 1209224. All right, check this out. You know it well. Boom! Look at that. Ethiopian Macesso opal. This is a specimen quality. I wouldn't worry about doing any cutting on it. But you can see it is a great, if you collect opal and do not have an Ethiopian opal. They were mined in the 90s, and they were known to craze. So Ethiopian opals never did hit big on the market until they found the Wello deposit. And those were, of course, hydrophane, whereas these weren't hydrophane. But the Wello ones, of course, hydrophane opal. So these old-timers stones are difficult to come by. Price on that, how about this? Only $24. Only $24. Item number 1208624. Now, this item is something that, of course, is always really, yeah, let's see. I have these, okay, separately. So let's go through them real quick. I don't have time to take these out of the bag, so let me just show them to you. Okay, look at the colors to these. This is yellow, orange, sapphire, and look at that. Even some of the Podparacha's colors. I was looking at these, even if they're beryllium treated or diffused, which most of the time you just assume that they are. I've hung on to these for a long time. I looked up the price of what they're even getting for beryllium treated sapphires, and it's crazy, crazy price. So these have are used tremendously in the jewelry market, and no longer is it distinguished separately. The beryllium ones, you know, in the small ones. Now, the bigger stones, yeah, they have to be sorted if you're going to have a, you know, Podparacha one or whatnot. But parcels like this, No, or used in jewelry, acceptable the way they are. They're all natural sapphires. Some may have been treated, others not. Of course, look at that. But either way, I was looking at how much they get per carat for stones like this at my discount site, and it's still $50 and $60 a carat. These are all going to be the same price. They're different weights, just so you can look at the ones and get maybe the one you want. Is that the right? Let's see. What is my price on these? Let me see. Right, $28. $28. Okay, so we're going to go through these real quick. They each have a separate item number. That one you can see 128. Okay, the next one is 120.83.24. 120.83.24. You can roughly look at them and pick the bag you want. They all have 10 stones and they all are over 5 carats. Let me, let's see, put these against there we go. That might help you out a little bit better. I'll flip these around both ways. Price, same price, $28. Look at that, $28. Next one, item number 120.85.24. 120.85.24. You know the price, it's $28. Look at these. All of them will have at least one of the Podparacha ones. You can, at home, of course, stop the and look at these closer and rewind and do all that. I have realized the time has gotten away from me, so you guys want me to show the goods and not talk about them, I know. $28. The next parcel, and I don't have any beyond these, 120.84.24. And I challenge you, go look up how much they're getting for these things. It is crazy. I couldn't believe it. And I did not change the pricing when I should have. Look at this parcel. Nice, large, beautiful orange, beautiful yellows. For $28 for 5 carats, less than $6 a carat. When you see what you'd have to pay for these, you're going to say, Shawn, you're nuts. I know. But that reflects my feeling about stones like that. You know, some may be real, some may not. But I'm just a straight up kind of guy that just, well, I'm a purist. Item number 120.89.24. 120.89.24. I have a deal. And this is a parcel I got a long time ago. I offered them a long time ago. I have not brought them back out for a long time. But for those of you that are crushing up for gemstone paintings, they're going to work great for you for that. Even at the price of the orange sapphires, you could smash them up for what I'm charging. Okay, this is an idea. These are the same weights. These are 50 carats. These are facet grade, natural zircons. Look at all the mixed colors. Everything from white to yellows to yellow greens to golden rich colors. Wow. Now, here's another one just to give you an idea. These each have 50 carats, and I have a lot more. Let me show you the bag. And I tumbled all these myself. Let me give you the price so you can already start me buying them. Let me see. Shawn has no idea. Yeah, same, $28. What am I thinking? Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this bag of them. So I can fill all that you want. I could have like 23 total parcels or something. Look at that. But you can see you're just going to get a mix. And guess what? The white zircons, natural whites. You can't find natural white zircon anymore unless it was certified natural. Look at all those. $28 a parcel. Was that right? Here, wait a second. No. Let's make them $21. Now I'm sounding like upstairs. $21 a parcel. They did start out to be $2,000, but right now, $21 a parcel. Sorry. Item number 121.0124. 121.0124. Look at what I have next for you. Here is, now this is the real deal. Look at this. This is from the Bella Vista mine. That's my friend's mine in, of course, Brazil. Gorgeous. You know what? This one is worth taking out only because the cut is insane. And a lemon yellow sapphire. Look at that. Look at this sapphire. And it's the real deal. This one is natural all the way. No treatments. It may be heat treated, of course, but I can't even say for certain whether it's been that. That'll be up to you. There's a little inclusion. You may find a little halo that might tell you that. Look at the faceting on this. This is a stone that is so bright and so well cut that I wish I could say I had done it myself. This is a beautiful, beautiful imperial topaz and a great stone. Two fantastic stones to add to your collection. And guess what? If you want them both, this doesn't make sense. The imperial topaz should be $100 a carat minimum, $58 for both. $58 for both. Don't ask me why, just buy it. Now, let me show you. I know I sold out the others. The same item number 119.33.24. 119.33.24. Now, I'm not going to unwrap these because look how nicely they have been wrapped up. I think one person bought all three of the ones I offered before. Here I have three more I'm offering. I actually have four, but I have to keep this one for the Raven. This is the sample that we're showing. Look at this. This is the thuya wood. That gorgeous smelling thuya wood that is, the wood grows along the northern part of Africa, Algeria, Morocco, across that area. And it is extremely aromatic. They have oil that they make from it. Look at that. This is completely natural. And same price as the others, which were $16 each, I hope, if that's what you have. $16 each on those, and I have a quantity of 3 I'll be putting in. Now, let's see. I want to make sure. Here we go. Let's get to, oh, yes, item 120.88.24. See, Brad's wife, this is where I start getting excited because as my time's running out, I'm realizing all these incredible pieces I haven't had time to show you yet because I've been yakking about everything else. Look at this. Bicolor Mongolian andradite with demantoid. Now, andradite, you know, of course, is the variety of garnet that demantoid belongs to. Let me show you. In this piece, you have basically both colors. You have andradite and what they can call topazolite, which is the yellowish form of it. So let me show you the green. Look at the green in this. Look at that green. That is a demantoid green. And then look at the outer dodecahedron shell that is yellow in color. Let me put this other light down here and you can get a feel for the yellow. And then look at the beautiful green center. That is different. And then look at that. It is from the Huanggang mine. It's an iron and tin mine. This is, of course, being a garnet from my garnet collection. It is a rare crystal. It is a rare locality. Look at that. There is the crystal form that you would normally see on that side. And there's a lot of other things that you can inspect, learn, and look at in that. I just don't have time to show you the rest of it right now because I want to get to as many things I can get to. And price on this beauty is an exceptional opportunity. And only $77. Only $77 on that. And if you collect localities, that is one. Good luck trying to find another one from that location. Let me see. I don't. Oh my. Okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up here. Let me see. Oh, one last thing, if I could. This was one of the main things I want to show, and also it was just the last item here because I wanted to show you how perfect this crystal is. So let me give you the item number. Item number is 120-9624. 120-9624. Here is a rare opportunity to get in on an Elmwood fluorite specimen. Now, look at the yellow and the purple to this. I want to show you something. Here is, I know it's on my camera, it's the best I do. If Lateef, you could work your magic for a moment and make that look like this, because this picture is almost exactly like this crystal. And if you can see in the picture, it even has the reaction halos. I should have sent this on to you. Awesome, I'm sorry. But, okay, the stair-step growths, and you can see right there, Elmwood Mine, Carthage, Tennessee, and you can see large fluorite crystals aren't common and typically show some degree of damage. This specimen also shows a few reaction halos around relic chalcopyrite crystals. It's not operational anymore. Let me show you this now closer. And mention the reaction halos. The reaction halos are those darker areas that you can see around chalcopyrites. And it is from natural radiation that often will create, and why they say reaction halos. But you can see those. Oh, great camera work there. And then the yellow fluorite. So you have bicolor fluorite with the chalcopyrite, with the reaction halos. That, you can see the actual chalco crystal right on the exterior right there. And then look at, see the stair-step growth? Just like in the picture. I mean, that could be the specimen. I mean, it's not, but I mean, it's that perfectly aligned with that origin. What an opportunity for someone. And I've been hanging on to that one, and I'm going to share it right now for only, if you want the real deal, Elmwood Mine, easy to see that is an Elmwood specimen. Only $88 on that. I could keep going, but the guys have been good enough. I've run out of time. I'll be back with the trivia.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Time goes by so fast, and why I just had to speed it up, because I enjoy presenting to all of you so much that I get carried away, because it's my hobby, it's my passion, it's my love. So it might be a $28 item, but I want to look at it like it was a $2,800 item. I want to show you the detail. I want to talk about it. I want to look at it from every angle. And granted, I just get carried away, and I lose just track of time. I mean, this diamond necklace, I mean, when I looked at it, the amount of time was far longer than what I got to present to you. And I could have taken that far longer time to talk about it. I was so excited about it. And, you know, I was just looking again at this tourmaline and lepidolite. And I do think that's an aqua crystal, I think. I'll leave it to you to find again. I was going to mark it, but I said, no. You guys, see if you can find which one again. And, you know, the last item with the chalcopyrite, I tell you what, you know, it is joyful to be able to share my love and my passion for these items with all of you. And I am very grateful that I get back such a positive response. Mostly I see it, you know, in your purchases and your comments, even though, and I didn't get to apologize for the Tuesday late posting, you know, I did in the show, but I want to retro apologize to those of you that maybe didn't, well, get to see it when you had hoped to, and maybe you missed out on some items because of that and all. But of course, that was because the storm came through here and the right decision was made. But we were able to bring you the show nonetheless, which, you know, I have to hand to Asif my thanks for that, and still get you a show each week. I would feel empty if I did it. And, you know, if you haven't noticed, except for my teeth that I lost, I haven't missed a show due to my long COVID ever since December, and I just in general feel better, and so that probably comes across in my projection of my voice, because I know I couldn't do that with my lungs and everything before. So you're really getting to see that held back passion all those years come out, especially when I'm bringing out some of the pieces to you that are so special to me, the hidenites, the gold and the quartz. And I'll try to find you, Brad, and see if another one just pops up somewhere. Don't know of it yet, but who knows? And but I wouldn't be here, and I couldn't share that passion if it weren't for all of you. And if you didn't make those purchases, I wouldn't be here either. So it takes you still, even though a lot of times people say, you know, you do it like a show and tell as opposed to a show and sell. But there still has to be that sell side. So I really am thankful if I haven't really expressed my gratitude enough before. I want to make sure all of you know it. So even though that show posted at a different day, it wasn't long, and there were over 200 views. And so I can see how, you know, when I only get, you know, 7 or 8 comments, I know that there's a lot more of you out there watching and making purchases than those that are commenting. Feel free to comment. You don't have to participate in the trivia. That's just something, an extra bonus. But you see, there's some good things given away. So if you want to, do it. Or just do it at home. You don't have to do it, but just answer the questions at home, just for fun, you know, like a crossword puzzle, and just see how well you do. Or you know, what is this? How when I put out the different specimens. And that way you get to share in the excitement of your own learning and your own growth in the hobby. Because if you're watching this show and not watching a jewelry show, which are great to watch as well, but if you're watching this particular show, you have to love rocks and minerals to do it, and to be able to get into it. So apparently there's 10,700 of you out there that do. So like and subscribe. Still keep doing that. Keep watching the show and keep enjoying a level of passion that I have that I hope comes across on all of you as well. And even if my voice gets raised, because at the end I realize, oh man, I have a lot more to show in my basket than I have time. But rocks keep, and there'll be another show. And I'll look forward to seeing you that show as well. In the meantime, let's answer some trivia questions. You ready, set? Sorry. What mineral inclusion caused reaction halos in fluorite? What mineral inclusion caused reaction halos in fluorite? Number 2, in the andradite specimen, what 2 gem names are given for the yellow variety and the green gem variety? So overall, of course, the specimen is an andradite. And I'm not going to say andradite garnet, because that's like repeating itself, okay? That's like saying quartz. Or that's like saying amethyst quartz. All right, if I say amethyst, you know it's a quartz. So if I say andradite, by now, I know that you're going to know it's a garnet, so I don't have to say that. So again, in the andradite specimen, what 2 gem names are given for the yellow variety you saw and the green variety you saw? that were both in the same specimen? And the last question. Yes, you get 3 this week. What name does the trade give to calcite with the crystal habit of 3 faces to the termination? What name does the trade give to calcite with the crystal habit of 3 faces to the termination? There you go. Good luck, all of you. I got a lot to clean up, but that's okay, because cleaning up, I'm just as bad. Everything I'm looking at again and enjoying it all over. And that's what you're to do when you get your specimen. I love to read like, oh, I can't wait to get my item in the mail. And then, you know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So I'm thankful to the graciousness of Asif and Latif and all those behind the show that bring it to you. And with that, I had better say my adieus and tell you to be safe. May God bless all of you. Keep you healthy. And I will look forward to seeing you next Monday. Thanks.